Beautiful day today to build a door. We're not sure how to build the door, but we got some hinges and a latch, and we have some posts that we can attach to. So we're gonna grab some scrap woods and see what we can do. The plan is to somehow create a door inside of this space. It's an irregular kind of thing, so we might have to build up some sort of spacer wall on either side maybe. I do believe we're gonna need taller wood though, because we want the door to be like 6 foot tall. But we want it to be extra wide so we can get a wheelbarrow in, which kind of leads me to mention about the tree that's in the way. We should probably move that, but we'll get to that after the door, I think. We now have 4 foot cross braces, and then those 6 foot boards. And we're going to lay them in certain ways so that the hinges can attach 4 of them on one side. It's going to be one giant door for now. We are getting this square like that. She's gonna hold that there. She's not gonna move her hands ever. And I'm gonna walk over there and just get another screw in it, and then we should be okay moving on down the road here. And there is our door. We're actually thinking about sliding it over and hinging it on the right, but you can see it'll definitely be tall enough. We'll just have to think of cross bracing, something like that. But we intended to have one of the cable adjusters run from the top all the way to the post. That way, because it'll be hinged on one side and the door will want to drop, you can use that cable, that adjustable cable, to bring it up. But that is a 6 by 4, 6 by 5? This is our 6 by 5 foot door. I think it'll work out fabulous. To show the completed final project of this door, I wanted to show you how I'm installing this. So this needs to feed all the way through, so it'll actually be going through the hole like this, and then it rotates, which brings a bar up. So what I'm going to do actually is I started with the lower hole, and I'm going to just add another hole directly on top of it, and that should give me the movement that I need. And our door is done. It's actually a perfect opportunity to test out this mic to see how much wind noise. Hopefully there isn't any. Let me break down exactly what we did with this door. It is roughly 6 foot tall by 7 foot wide, or vice versa. I don't really know, because what we used was scrap oak boards, and they were generally around 5 foot to 6 foot. And we just kind of made it work. Specifically, we used for hardware with some barn door hinges, and you see those hex star screw heads. Those are the GRK exterior screws. We use 2.5 inch and 1.5 inch screws. The only reason why we went for shorter ones in certain cases was so that, like, in the entryway, we didn't have long screws coming through that we'd poke our hand on. We used a drop latch. So if you want to open it, you can go like that, and it'll slide in. You can also rotate it this way, and then you can lock it on both directions. But when it's like this, in between these 2 notches, it's free to move up and down. So we'll show you the thumb button handle. This is actually backwards, but it's just because of how I had to deal with this post that was a little bit out of square. And then we used just a simple bottom latch that we drilled a hole into our little baseboard, and we made a baseboard there to cover up any gaps, because we were really worried about, as we built this door, it kept getting heavier and heavier and heavier and dropping. So we like purposely made it a little bit higher, and then we filled in the gap, and then we did the hinges. I'll show you the inside. So you can see it goes pretty smoothly. We have a little bit of overhang on the wire mesh at the bottom, which we could probably get rid of. But as you can see here, we have some of these ugly plates, because we made this original door with a board facing this way. Then we connected it this way. We put a couple of corner braces in there, And we also screwed through the side. But then when I saw that we had bought this, I needed to cut a hole. So I was like, well, then I'll add this flatboard and I'll just screw through this. But then the gap was too wide between that and the pillar. So that's why I ended up grabbing some of these. I drew some, put some screws through the, kind of had a sharp angle there to make it one complete piece on both sides. Got another couple of ugly plates here. I probably installed those wrong, but we did use the shorter screws, and we didn't screw all the way in because it would actually push all the way through. So we kind of got it together. We kind of monkeyed with it, hammered it. I mean, it's pretty solid because we have the additional screws through there, but definitely not what a professional probably would have resulted in. However, it works really well for us. I'll show you this gap here again. So the original was right where my hand was. So we had all that. So, well, that just latches. Pretty cool. So we had all of this gap to fill in. So I got to there, and then I was like, I don't know how to install this. So I kind of made this, and that it actually works pretty well. Oh, and actually, if you see here, no matter what we tried to do with that post and trying to fix the angle, we still needed to put in kind of a spacer here to force a different angle on it. So these are 2.5-inch screws, and that's 1.5 inches. We kind of alternated here because I wanted to be able to have more screw, or I needed more screw because of the gap. But that works pretty well. It's kind of a little ghetto, a little makeshift, but it does pretty well. Now for the prettiest part, these are the shims that I came up with to try and force an angle, because when we set this first post, it was actually supposed to be like that, but it wasn't. So we had some kindling laying around, and we kind of just made it up as we went. We kind of had to screw this in and then screw it through and then kind of angle it to try and get as much purchase as possible. But other than looking a little janky, it actually fits the bill and does what we need it to do. So the hinges that we use are heavy duty, but they are limited. They're not exactly dual directional hinges. So we will be able to open it from the outside or toward the outside and get wheelbarrows and things like that in. But then when we go inside, we'll just have to go like this. Try not to lose this bit. Oops. And then it will go. Okay, well, that was a fail. So anyways, when this door comes in and we have this tree cut out and this fixed, then we'll be able to bring the door in, and it will be able to almost get to this point. However, we really don't need it to, when we're walking in, we basically just want the door to push chickens out of the way if we need to, and then we'll just come in on that far side. And also keep in mind, we will have a chicken coop basically starting where this maple tree is, and it's going to go 8 foot that way. So there will be, this fence will be tighter, and then there'll be a building, and then there'll be a continuation of the fence. We're going to try and get these T-posts out, but they're pretty impossible to pull out. I guess I'll have to get some real gloves and work on that a little bit harder, because we would like to remove all this material and get these T-posts up and leave that coop for the next batch of chicks that we get. So thank you for watching. One of the reasons why we wanted to record this and keep it a little bit short was to try and help people that were kind of frustrated with fear or not sure how they're actually going to make any of these things. To actually just show that, yeah, really quickly you can kind of screw some boards together, get it to the right shape, and just like this pillar here, you can make things up as you go. Go to the big box stores or local hardware stores and maybe ask some questions and figure it out. But we're actually really happy with this door. We might end up reinforcing the screening because it's just kind of a long, wide deal, and we're not sure if that should be maybe reinforced or maybe have a diagonal See if I can do this. Maybe we can do a diagonal board throughout, just to overall make it a little bit stronger. So thank you for watching, and please get out there and start banging some boards together and see what happens. So thank you. Bye-bye.